Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Dirk Morschet. I have the pleasure to now present you the Master in International European Business. This master program is taught fully in English. That's why I also present it in this language. It's one of the 4 masters of our department, and it's basically building on the same modules, courses, and resources that Professor Burkhardt has presented in the beginning. It just puts another focus on it. So why do we offer a Master in International Business? Why do we think it's something attractive to study? Well, because internationalization, as you probably know when you're studying management or business in your bachelor degree, is a topic that really influences every company today on the sales side, or even if you're just domestically active in international sourcing from abroad. Exports, as you know, account for almost 50% of the GDP in Switzerland. Swiss companies, and I think that's even more important when we talk about business and international business activities, have over 11,600 subsidiaries abroad. That means Swiss companies have units that they have to control abroad, that they have to coordinate, and you have to learn how to do this. Swiss companies have over 2 million people hired outside of Switzerland, which means international human resource management is something that you have to carry out even if you work in Switzerland. There's a high relevance of the European business because, it's international and European business. We still highlight a little bit this European aspect because more than 50% of Swiss exports and more than 50% of Swiss foreign direct investment, and that is subsidiaries basically, are still within Europe, but outside of Switzerland. But also emerging markets are getting more and more important. That's why we highlight emerging markets in the program as well. Countries like China, India, Vietnam, and so on, which means that large multinational companies like Nestlé, ABB, Credit Suisse, and so on, but also SMEs in Switzerland increasingly need people that know how to develop international business strategies that understand this interconnectedness of the world and of units in the world, and that have a global mindset and have developed an intercultural competence. And that's actually what we designed this Master in International European Business for, to provide you with these necessary qualifications for a job in basically any internationally active company. We try to have a high practical orientation in the program. We do case studies, we give you international exposure, and the program, as I said, is taught in English. A few words on the structure, but you can read a lot of this in the program and the regulations, so I don't want to highlight this too long, but basically we have the same 10 modules. There's one core module, European and Global Business, with explicitly internationally focused courses. I'll show you this on the next slide. You have to do at least 27 ECTS in this. And then you pick one other further module, which gives you a lot of possibilities to shift your program in different directions, whether that's accounting and control, whether that's finance, whether that's innovation, entrepreneurship. And that's also something that Professor Burkhardt has already highlighted. This aspect of data analytics is also in there as one module because we think it's important, and you can combine this with many of our other master programs as well. So you have 72 ECTS in courses, you do a master thesis, and maybe by now you have read a couple of the topics. We also try to have scientifically and practically relevant topics. For example, we looked into the effect of country cultures on the marketing management of Nestlé. We looked into Swissness in times where production of Swiss companies is shifted abroad. What does it mean for the country of origin image of this? We look into digitalization, internationalization topics. For example, digitalization of international after-sales services or the internationalization of digital marketing companies, just to name a few examples. And as you see in this quote, which also is one from our recent evaluations, I think that students see that we are really committed to this program and to give you good learning and study experience. As I said, the most courses you will have to do in the core module. And in the last decade, we have really built up a big portfolio of courses that are specifically targeted at international issues. You see this over here. I don't have to read this, from intercultural management to international finance, from international services marketing to microeconomics of competitiveness, and so on, being done by us or being also done partly by the other departments, but then helpful for those programs. But what I will show is that we do not only give normal courses, lectures, and seminars, that we try to do some specific courses on there. I'll just give you 2 or 3 examples. One is a course, Case Studies in International Strategy, which is given by my strategy colleague, Professor Rudolf Grünig, and he does this annually in collaboration with a company. Student teams from us in a seminar look into a specific challenge that is defined by the company. We get factory tours, we get to learn about the company, we work with the company, and then it's presented for the top management of the company. I showed you one example over here for Lafarge-Holcim, where the students last 2 years presented in front of the CEO. The next seminar round in fall is going to be with the Swiss chocolate company, and so on. So it gives you a practical application of your knowledge. Another course, which is, I think, a little bit unusual, is intercultural business projects, which a group of professors is doing, where we actually put 1 student from Fribourg in a group with 5 students from somewhere else in the world. So we build virtual teams. It's actually a project, X-Culture, where more than 4,000 students from over 40 countries collaborate. And again, it's practical consulting work for companies that have a market analysis task, for example, a market entry task, and where the students help to solve that for the companies. I said we put a focus on emerging markets. In this area of emerging markets, we organize annually a conference where we mix managers and students in the audience, and we bring in managers that are successful in emerging markets and present their experiences and the challenges to the students. I just put a number of names over here. From different companies, large multinational companies, but also Swiss SMEs that are active in India and Indonesia and those type of countries. There's one more aspect that I want to highlight, is that we believe that you should learn international business in an international setting. So we try to give you some exposure. And it has already been mentioned that we actually have a quite high percentage of foreign students here, so you already get this intercultural exposure in Fribourg. I mean, I don't have to mention this intercultural aspect of the different languages in Fribourg. Anyway, we offer 2 different dual degree programs, one with the EM Strasbourg Business School and one in Pavia, where basically instead of 3 semesters for the master, you take 4, but then you get 2 masters. In this, you can ask me questions on this later on in the chat. There have already been some questions answered on this. There's something else that we have been doing for a while. We've been trying to go abroad because, we believe that you feel the dynamics of an emerging market when you're in the emerging market. So we did study trips to India and had a course doing business in India twice, where we experienced the high-tech situation in India, which many of us are not usually aware of. And we've been a couple of times in Thailand in a summer school on doing business in Asia. And we have scheduled the next one for 2022. I guess by then we will be able to travel again. And you see over there, we visit universities, we have university courses, and we visit companies and discuss with them. Because again, I think learning international business is best done in international settings. Those are just a few of those highlights. But again, I want to emphasize at the core of it, it's courses with theories, with models, because that is the basis of any academic master program. We just try to go a little bit beyond that. So if you study this, what kind of career can you do later on? And you see over here, it's like all of those business aspects really broad. People get business development managers or head of international marketing, head of innovation, because that also has very often international aspect to it, head of international sales, managers in international retail or e-commerce companies, HR managers, and quite many start their career in consulting, consultants for strategy, consultants for international strategy. So you see very many options, fantastic options on the job market in this. So for this, I want to conclude with this master.